Hello and hi, my name is Connor. 今回の動画では Cobalt Boy の Fight について話しています。This album came out in April and I only started listening to it about 2 or 3 weeks ago. This has been in my backlog obviously for a very long time now, and so when I finally got around to it, I was like, oh, well, it's about time, I should listen to it, I've been meaning to. Oh, the cover's sort of interesting, blah, 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 blah. But honestly, when I listened to this album for the first time, I was blown away. I really, really enjoy this album now. So who is Cobalt Boy? They are a 4-piece band from Fukuoka. This is their second album. Genre-wise, I would say that this is very much an indie rock album with some hints of surfer rock and also a little bit of folk rock. However, there are a lot of elements of Dreamwave and also city pop on here too. So maybe for comparison, you could think a dreamier version of Supercar, Kururi, or maybe The Pillows. Now to me, this album is something of a Venn diagram of two genres. There is rock, which I would maybe call like slacker rock from that early 2000s period, which is why I mentioned bands like Supercar and Kururi. But then also you do have that poppier side too. When you move those closer to each other, you kind of get those few songs in the middle. And that's what I really feel like the first 2 to 3 songs are, and maybe the fourth a little bit as well. What's interesting about those genres too is that, while yes, they are complementary, they aren't quite the same. In regard to the pop side of everything, you have more of that dreamier sound with synths and electronic production. Not a ton, but it is still there. Whereas for that rock section, you have a lot more of these like stinging guitar riffs and just these like soaring wails of like the backing guitar too. I would really also say that the feature that combines these two elements is probably the lead singer's vocals. His name is Yuki Takamori, and he has really amazed me with his vocals on this entire album, and honestly on almost every single song. But of course, all of the instrumentalists are just amazing here too, on of course every single song. One thing I want to mention is that although the band has that very 2000s sound, Yuki Taka instead sings with this 80s or 90s sort of pop cadence and intonation to his voice. There are a few instances on this album where I do feel like he sounds like Hyde from L'Arc-en-Ciel, or say. I still haven't learned how to say it because it's a French word, but with like Japanese pronunciation, so sorry if I say it wrong. Though I will also say his voice isn't as deep as Hyde's, it still has that same kind of 80s, 90s, shoegaze, visual kai pop sort of intonation. Yuki Taka also kind of sounds like the lead vocalist from the band's Last Alliance and also The Novembers, which I'm happy to hear. I love how they sing. With this 80s, 90s, and 2000s sort of sound, as you can imagine, there is a very heavy element of nostalgia, and I really feel like it makes its way into the instrumentals for that reason as well. Now, what I'm about to say might be something of a hot take, maybe. I feel like a lot of the songs on this album could easily be the opening or the ending song for an anime like Bleach or Inuyasha or Yu Yu Hakusho. They all kind of have that pop, rock, lonesome, solitary, nostalgic, yet still very lively city pop kind of sound, like those shows heavily used throughout their soundtracks. And I will say too, that sound is what really got me into Japanese music in the first place. So for that reason, I liked all of these songs a lot because they gave me that exact nostalgic feeling. And unlike some of my other reviews, I'm not mentioning any specific songs here because they all really make me feel all of these things that I'm describing. So in case you are hungering for some examples, I would say that the songs Silent Moon, Wasereteku, and also A Touch of Love really suit this nostalgic 80s pop yet still kind of rocky sound. Wasereteku in particular has this amazing bass line and these beautiful synths on it that I just need to mention because they are just awesome. I think this might be my favorite song on the album, though there are 4 other runner-ups. All of the instrumentation across this entire album is generally just amazing, and I feel like there's so much happening in every song, but all of the parts still come together seamlessly. One thing I noticed too is that as the song starts and then ends, I feel like it starts very rocky and then it gets very poppy and dreamwavy and a little shoegazy, though I still wouldn't really call that one of the major genres of this album. I will also say that this more poppy side of it is probably my favorite part, though I do still respect those few opening rock songs as well. One other thing I want to mention too are the lyrics and the wordplay on this album. Yuki Taka just seems like he's having a lot of fun writing and singing these, and I feel like that's very obvious when you listen to the music. The song Ocean Waves has this constant rhyming of the words you and also me, and because of this, you also get a lot of similar sounding Japanese words that rhyme with these as well. I think the very first line of this song is him singing me nani mo dekinai. Love that one. Then later on in the same song, he'll trick you. He'll do a switch up. So you think he'll say me, but instead he says furui. It was so great. I was not expecting that, but I just love that kind of technique and just surprise rhyming in songs, and I love that here too. I just feel like his songs are lyrically always keeping you on your toes, and that's just so much fun. And that's just the lyrics too. I think the enunciation and that intonation is just as important for when he sings as well. For example, this small section from the song Silent Moon. On this song, at about the halfway point, he sings Koko wa doko ni mo nai. And again, I just think that is such a cool rhyme scheme that works very well, and it just sounds good to my ears too. It sounds slick, it sounds sweet, love that. So as I mentioned, I've been listening to this album for 2 to 3 weeks now, and I feel like I would have had this video out sooner if I was able to figure out what I wanted to score it exactly. On my first few listens, I was really contemplating giving this an 8, and now what I've been juggling with is whether I want to give it any higher than a 9. I don't think I can, only because there are some very small issues that I think really prevents me from enjoying every single song here. I love how this album starts rocky and then gets progressively more poppy and dreamwavy and shoegazy, and that sounds fantastic. And for that reason, I kept going, this is my favorite song, no, this is my favorite song, no, this is my favorite song, no, this is my favorite song. But those first 2 to 3 songs, the first 2 for sure, that third one is kind of a maybe, I just feel like are the weakest out of all of them. Now, of course, they aren't bad songs in any way. I don't think I would really rate those songs individually any higher than like a 7 or an 8, whereas every other song on here is at least like a 9 or like 9.5, if not a 10. The album really starts on the 4th song, which is titled Silent Moon, and it stays consistently amazing until the finish. But you know, those first 1 and 2, I just do not gel with them for some reason. I think it's maybe the flow of the song and the pacing. The very first song has this exhale throughout it that is a little bit off-putting to me. For the most part, I'm okay with it, and I wouldn't say that it's song ruining. However, it definitely takes me out of the song because it's slightly slower paced than the vocals or the other instrumentation. So it kind of has this weird time signature effect for me, where it's slowing down what would otherwise be a very fast-paced song. Though I suppose I shouldn't be too upset considering that song is titled Breath. But you know, I just don't like the breath on there. That second song, Maho no Ai, while it's fine, like I said, it's just kind of fine. Nothing really stands out to me on that song like any of the others, and that's a real shame. Ultimately, I do really feel like if these first 2 songs were not on the album, I probably would have given it a 10. This is such a great sounding album that is unfortunately kind of brought down a little bit by those first 2 songs. And now I'll stop talking about it, and instead I will talk about my favorite songs on this album. That would be the songs Silent Moon, Wasarete Ku, Antenna. Oh my god, I love Antenna. Calm Mind, Ocean Waves, and Suiso. All fantastic. You know what else is fantastic too? The album art. I love this consistent use of the same artist. I think all of the art for their albums and their singles are just absolutely beautiful, and they really suit the mood and the atmosphere of them too. One last thing I'll say too is that I hope the band really continues down the city pop sound because they are just really in tune with it musically, no pun intended. Thank you for watching. I really think you should check out this album. It is so worth your time. I enjoyed it a lot. I think you will too. I know next time I go to Fukuoka, I am going to see this band live. I really want to because I want to listen to their music live. I am probably going to go crazy at that concert. As always, let me know if you do listen to this album because I'd love to hear what you think too. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.